It's been a very soggy day as we've been dealing with our latest weather maker. I'll break down the timing of the rain and I'll let you know how it could impact your morning commute coming up.
This was a knockdown, drag-out dogfight to open the city checkbook.
After 8 months of requests, Fox 45 News finally getting a look at Baltimore City's checkbook, where millions of taxpayer dollars are going. That might surprise you. And Christmas might come early for Orioles fans tomorrow. What we're expecting to learn about the team's lease at Camden Yards.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 10.
Fox 45 News following two big stories tonight. Senator Bill Ferguson is hosting a town hall tomorrow night, bringing local and state leaders together to talk about the juvenile crime problem in Baltimore City. It comes as Police Commissioner Richard Worley says more young people are getting their hands on guns. From groups not in good standing with the state and others deemed delinquent, Fox 45 News getting a look at the nonprofits Baltimore City is funneling millions of taxpayer dollars to. The red flags we're finding as we follow the money. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala. We begin with that storm system that has millions of people on the East Coast under flood and wind threats. You can see its impact in Florida on the bottom right, and on the left, the impact here in our area, leaving us pretty much drenched tonight. And it could make for a challenging morning commute. Let's get right over to meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with the latest on this rainy forecast. Jasmine?
Thanks, Mary. It has been such a soggy day as we've been dealing with the weather maker, but now we're actually seeing the heaviest of rain. Notice all of the areas around our state in yellows and even those oranges. That's where we're seeing the heaviest rain. So if you look outside, it's probably raining where you are. The rain's probably heavy, and that will continue overnight as the weather maker continues to move toward the north. We're keeping track of a low pressure system off the coast of the Carolinas, and it's what's leading to rain not just here, but really up the entire East Coast. Coming up, I'll have a look at when that weather maker clears and we finally dry out in my full forecast. Back to you.
Jasmine, thank you. Stay with Fox 45 News. Our team of meteorologists will track this system throughout the night. We'll bring you everything you need to know before you head out the door on Fox 45 Morning News starting at 4:30. Well, it has taken 8 months of requests, but Baltimore City has finally agreed to open its checkbook so taxpayers can see where the tax dollars are being spent. And there are plenty of surprises. Jeff Abel has more in a report you're seeing first on Fox.
Well, for the first time, we're getting a glimpse inside the city's checkbook. And what we're learning is that millions of city tax dollars are being pumped into organizations that are not in good standing with the state.
The amount of money is $10,000.
At City Hall, there are 4 billion reasons to spend.
48 million.
And 4 billion questions about who's getting paid.
$500,000 per year.
This was a knockdown, drag-out dogfight to open the city checkbook.
It took the threat of legal action, but Adam Andrzejewski of OpenTheBooks.com has finally received a copy of the city's checkbook.
Up until this point, the City of Baltimore checkbook has been a black box, but now, by shining a white-hot spotlight on the line-by-line payments, we can follow the money.
And following the money has opened a whole new can of questions. What the city provided was its checkbook stretching 15 months, from August 2022 to October 2023. It details more than $2 billion in city payments, but it doesn't always explain why.
For instance, $12 million in this 15-month period flowed to a private ambulance company. What really stands out to us is the nearly $400 million paid on professional services to outside firms and consultants within the city checkbook. You have $27 million of building maintenance paid during a period when 2,000 city employees are working from home.
But perhaps the most troubling discovery was the city's payment of $65 million to these 32 different nonprofit organizations. According to Andrzejewski, all of them are not in good standing with the state. Some of their nonprofit accounts are deemed delinquent. Others simply closed. But all of them have been awarded big money from City Hall.
You've got the Baltimore Civic Fund. During this 15-month period, they received $14 million in city payments. And their registration with the state is delinquent. The Baltimore Museum of Art. The state has them as delinquent on their registration, yet they received $1.4 million. The Baltimore Public Markets Corporation, during this 15-month period, they received $3.4 million out of the city checkbook, and they are not properly registered and considered closed at the Secretary of State in Maryland. The city should not be doling out tens of millions of dollars to nonprofit organizations that don't have their basic paperwork straight with the state of Maryland.
The organizations have yet to explain why they've fallen out of compliance with the state, but at City Hall, the funding is still falling their way.
Baltimore has real problems, and yet the elites in the city, they've never had it so good on the backs of taxpayers.
These documents have raised so many questions that we're now demanding more information to try to determine exactly how these dollars have been spent and why. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
Now, Fox 45 News reached out to those nonprofits listed as not in good standing or delinquent. Two of them got back to us. The Pride Center responded in a statement saying it is looking into its status and will work with the city to fix any compliance issues. Active Social Communities also got back to us, a spokesperson saying her understanding of the group's not current status is tied to an administrative registration delay, which is being rectified. Now, Fox 45 News and Open the Books aren't the only ones looking for more accountability when it comes to the money Baltimore City gives to nonprofits. Earlier this year, Councilman Yitzi Schleifer introduced a bill that would require nonprofits that receive city money to show receipts so the public can see how they're spending that money.
I too have been asking a lot of questions, and so hopefully this just has a uniform process in how all of these programs are handled.
Well, that bill was introduced back in May. So far, it hasn't gone anywhere. Councilman Schleifer is also one of many people calling for an audit of the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, which runs the Safe Streets program. And while the city has been tight-lipped about Safe Streets spending, back in October, we did get some insight into the program's spending through a public records request. Those records show Safe Streets spent tens of thousands of dollars on shoes, travel, and training provided by undisclosed vendors.
Muncie is a city agency. It is right here in City Hall, and so an agency like that should just be part of the agencies that are audited.
I think an audit does need to be done.
Transparency is key. If you have people that are benefiting from tax dollars, then there should be some accountability.
Well, the FBI conducted a search warrant on the Bel Air Edison Safe Streets location in October, investigating potential gang ties. Following that search, Mayor Brandon Scott said he would support an audit of Muncie, but he says it would require a charter amendment to add Muncie to the list of city agencies to be audited, which could take years. However, the Biennial Audit Commission could conduct a one-off audit of a city agency without a charter amendment. And while 4 of the 7 members of that commission have indicated they would support an audit, it hasn't happened. That brings us to our question of the day. Do you want us to investigate how the city spends your tax dollars? So far, 100% of voters say yes. Head to foxbaltimore.com/vote to weigh in. Tomorrow, Senate President Bill Ferguson will hold a town hall aimed at addressing juvenile crime and public safety concerns in Baltimore. Department of Juvenile Services Secretary Vincent Schiraldi will be on the panel. Schiraldi has some controversial views, including his belief that young people should not be exposed to the criminal justice system until they turn 25.
You're basically saying up until the age of 25, which is what he wants to do, you get a free ride.
Unfortunately, legislators, lawmakers, have decided that it's better to support the lawbreakers rather than those who are enforcing the law.
Tomorrow's town hall comes as Baltimore police say they are seeing more young people get their hands on guns. Fox 45's Vincent Hill has a closer look.
So the good news, homicides and non-fatal shootings are down. Now the bad news, gun arrests are also down, and those guns ending up in the hands of juveniles.
This week at City Hall.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Public Safety and Government Operations Committee meeting.
A conversation about the current state of Baltimore City's public safety.
Here we see the 2023 gun arrests. It's down about 10%.
Commissioner Worley acknowledging less gun arrests than this time last year, while also acknowledging more and more juveniles are getting their hands on them.
Unfortunately, we find young people committing more violent acts now with handguns.
Happen to
Mayoral candidate Sheila Dixon.
Think about it, if you're at a light and somebody comes up to you with a gun and gunpoint with you and want to take your car.
Weighing in on the effects those guns are having on innocent victims.
Not only have they just devastated you, but can you imagine what you might be going through for the rest of your life?
Victims Fox 45 has spoke with time and time again.
He could have shot me. I saw the gun in his hand.
Pointed a gun at my head and said to exit the vehicle.
Dixon, it seems, on the same page as Commissioner Worley.
It's unfortunate, and part of it is that we've got to get control of these illegal guns.
How are 13 and 14-year-olds getting handguns?
The day after that question, a 16-year-old shot Thursday around 2 in the afternoon.
I'm imagining it's probably another teenager that shot him with some kind of beef.
Despite the latest teen shooting, some good news, according to Worley.
The good thing of all of it is that we've had less young people succumb to the injuries after being shot than we did last year.
So far this year, 15 juveniles have been shot and killed. Meanwhile, the number of juveniles arrested for carjacking up 39% from this time last year. In the control room, Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
Well, Fox 45 News has heard from more than a dozen prosecutors across the state, representing more than 80% of Maryland's population, who say the Juvenile Justice Reform Act and the Child Interrogation Protection Act leave their hands tied when it comes to holding young people accountable. Now, two of those prosecutors, City State's Attorney Ivan Bates and Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy, they are laying out their legislative priorities for next session. They want to increase probation for kids who have a gun, requiring DJS notify courts when a young person violates their home monitoring, and classify groups who recruit children to steal cars for them as organized crime units.
A lot of what we're seeing now are more sophisticated operations involving multiple levels of people who are benefiting from this type of crime.
I think one of the things you see is criminal organizations able to use juveniles and to say, hey, nothing's going to happen to you in the first place, so we're going to direct you to do that type of behavior.
If you feel your juvenile crime concerns aren't being heard, reach out to your lawmakers. House Speaker Adrian Jones, Senate President Bill Ferguson, two of the most powerful voices in Annapolis. Their phone numbers and email addresses right there on your screen. And Fox 45 News is hosting our own town hall on public safety this week. We invite you to join us. City Councilman Eric Costello and mayoral candidate Sheila Dixon will be on our panel. It takes place Wednesday, December 20th at 7 p.m. at Leadenhall Baptist Church. Tomorrow's a big day for the Orioles. The team's lease at Camden Yards could finally be finished. Rocco DeSangor joins us live with what to expect. Rocco.
You said it, Mary. Finally. Since we're in the holiday season, it's only right that Birdland gets a potential gift of its own, one that will keep Camden Yards as the Orioles' home for the foreseeable future. Monday is a big one for this franchise, the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland, as the long-term lease agreement goes before the Maryland Stadium Authority Board for approval, then the Maryland Board of Public Works shortly after. Governor Wes Moore saying in a statement on Thursday that the Orioles are a treasured part of the Baltimore community and how excited he is to see the impact the team makes on the city and state for years to come. The Stadium Authority meeting is at 10 in the morning. The Board of Public Works meeting will follow in the afternoon. Camden Yards, known as the ballpark that forever changed baseball. It's been the O's home since 1992. The hope is that it will continue to be for years to come. Mary.
Rocco, thanks. Stay with Fox 45 News. We will have complete coverage of tomorrow's meeting surrounding the Orioles lease. We'll bring you updates as we get them both on air and online. A Capitol Hill scandal sending shockwaves across social media this weekend. How Senator Ben Cardin is responding to reports his staffer filmed himself in a sex act in a Senate hearing room.
Top officials upping their warnings and their involvement in the Israel-Hamas war. I'm Christine Frizzell with the very latest.
A staffer for Maryland Democratic Senator Ben Cardin has been fired after controversy surrounding his alleged actions. A video leaked online allegedly showing the staffer having sex in a Senate office building. Senator Cardin releasing a statement to Fox 45 News, not commenting on the video, but saying that staffer is no longer employed by the U.S. Senate. The statement goes on to say his office has no further comment on the matter. The staffer also commenting on the situation on his LinkedIn page, denying it was him in the video. In the post, he says, in part, "I love my job and would never disrespect my workplace. Any attempts to characterize my actions otherwise are fabricated." Former President Donald Trump is maintaining a lead over his competitors for president, although he is drawing some criticism for remarks he made about immigrants this weekend. A Fox News poll out today shows Trump would beat President Joe Biden by 4 points in the general election. Now it comes as Democrats push back on his comments on immigration.
You know, when they let, I think the real number is 15, 16 million people into our country, when they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done.
Now, the Biden-Harris campaign responding, saying Trump is scaring and dividing the country. As the death toll rises in Gaza and the humanitarian situation grows dire, Israel's war with Hamas is losing international support. Sinclair national correspondent Christine Frizzau has the latest.
It's just the latest sign that a war supposed to be between Israel and Hamas is drawing others in. The United States and Britain reporting shooting down at least 14 attack drones launched from Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen, with 3 additional U.S. Navy destroyers making their way to the region.
We will continue to stay very focused on not only deterring, but also protecting our forces.
The violence prompting major shipping companies to pause all activity in the Red Sea until further notice. As the death toll and humanitarian crisis inside Gaza grow more dire, Israel is doubling down on its position that it won't stop the fighting until its mission is accomplished.
As we pursue Hamas, and we will defeat Hamas, we will destroy its military machine, we will end their rule of Gaza.
But cracks in support for Israel appear to be growing larger. More European Union and U.S. leaders calling for an end to the fighting.
A Jewish baby and a Palestinian baby are babies. I don't want to see any baby die. So first of all, we got to take that on. We got to get a ceasefire.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan also calling for Israel to scale back its attacks.
There will be a transition to another phase of this war, one that is focused in more precise ways on targeting the leadership.
But Prime Minister Netanyahu continues to dismiss international pressure, telling his government, "We will fight to the end, achieve all of our goals, and eliminate Hamas." But pressure is also mounting from inside Israel after the IDF mistakenly killed 3 Israeli hostages being held in Gaza. One of them, 26-year-old Alon Shamriz, whose father we spoke to only last week.
I don't want him to be injured. I want him back safe. We're putting a pressure on our government to make a deal. Put a deal on the table, release all the hostages.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is the next top White House official to visit Israel in the coming days, where he's expected to voice support for its mission to destroy Hamas, but also demand much more clarity on the next, more focused phase of the war. I'm Christine Frizzau reporting.
I'm tracking our latest weather maker, and it's leading to areas of heavy rain around the state. This heavy rain is going to continue overnight, and it'll likely mean a rainy and possibly a very wet morning commute. So you want to make sure that you're driving safely. Again, the heaviest areas of rain are currently over our area. That's indicated by those yellows. We've got some areas with a little more moderate and even lighter rain in the green, but overnight, expect the showers to continue as a low pressure system moves up the coast. 57 for the current temperature, and notice our visibility. That's down to 2 miles. So as you're driving, you may notice that it's a little bit foggy. Make sure that you're driving safely. Otherwise, temperatures are in the 40s and the 50s around the state with rain across our area. The low pressure system's currently just off the coast of the Carolinas, but it's leading to rain all the way up into New England. Not only are we keeping watch on this low pressure system, but we're also watching this cold front that could lead to a few snow showers for areas west. That's where we have that purple for winter storm alerts, but it could also mean a couple of flurries as we move forward into Tuesday morning. We're under a flood watch, and this runs through tomorrow, so make sure that you are staying alert. We're also looking at a wind advisory. We could have wind gusts exceeding 50 miles per hour in some locations. So if you have any outdoor belongings, it's not too late to move those inside. Overnight, the rain continues, then it becomes a little more scattered around daybreak tomorrow. Still, you'll likely be driving through some rainy areas. The rain gradually tapers, and it looks much better for the afternoon as temperatures reach the 50s. Then for Tuesday, you'll notice it will be cooler. We start with plenty of sunshine before more clouds move in for the afternoon. Our temperatures will be below average in the upper 40s and in the upper 30s and the low 40s. You'll notice rain totals could exceed 3 inches, and that's from that rain tonight when we have heavy rain across our state. After that, we're looking at a pretty dry forecast following our showers tomorrow. 49 for the low temperature with heavy rain continuing, then 56 tomorrow. We're looking at morning showers, and then we start to dry out. Temperatures will be 43 on Tuesday with breezy conditions, 48 on Wednesday, and then after that, temperatures remain mild in the upper 40s and low 50s through Christmas Eve. Back to you.
Jasmine, thank you. The Baltimore Fire Department wrapping their arms around the children of a fallen firefighter, how they're making sure the kids have a happy holiday. Plus, a look at a holiday tradition honoring fallen veterans. We'll be right back. The Baltimore City Fire Department making sure the children of firefighter Rodney Pitts have a good holiday. Pitts died in October while fighting a 2-alarm fire in a row home in northwest Baltimore. Today, the fire department showered Rodney Pitts' children with gifts, candy, and lots of holiday cheer. Santa Claus made a special visit to the family at the fire station. The Pitts family says they hope this helped the kids feel close to their dad this Christmas.
I hope that honestly that they'll still feel, Rodney's presence through it all. I hope that I know that it's not a replacement for him, but I hope that it makes them feel, just some sense of normalcy, just happy and just able to enjoy the holidays without, him being around.
Well, firefighters and paramedics were on hand to show their support today. Another firefighter, Lieutenant Dylan Ronaldo, was also killed in that October fire. Meanwhile, fallen heroes across our nation, including right here in our area, have fresh wreaths on their graves tonight. Thanks to Wreaths Across America, millions of volunteers placed the wreaths yesterday. In our area, a ceremony was held at the Baltimore National Cemetery in Catonsville. You can find more on the Wreaths Across America on our website, foxbaltimore.com. School choice becoming a reality for millions of American students. A closer look at how it's happening in tonight's Full Measure report. School choice has proven controversial across the country. In some states, it means letting families take public money to fund their children's private school education. Full Measure, Cheryl Atkinson reports.
A teacher and mom, Becky Usello is both an observer and a participant in Missouri's school choice movement.
I think a lot of parents are looking for just better educational opportunities for their students. Public school system, it's an institutional system, and one size does not fit all.
Under Missouri's school choice initiatives, Usello's special needs daughter, Isabella, age 14, gets scholarship money to attend a private religious school.
Whether it's curriculum or discipline or supporting behavioral issues, there is a critical need for reform. As a teacher, I was hoping that COVID would give us a chance to take a step back and reevaluate. And once we went back to school, it was business as usual, because it takes a lot of energy and effort to make changes in education, and there are a lot of people that don't want to do the work for it.
With COVID-19 restrictions and shutdowns, family frustrations boiled over. By early 2023, at least 42 states, including Missouri, had proposed some form of taxpayer-funded school choice.
9 states have passed universal school choice laws in just the past 2 years, meaning students can qualify to spend some government school money to attend private school regardless of family income. Missouri has been at the forefront of the school choice debate for 25 years.
Yeah, there you go.
Earlier this year, under a Republican-dominated state legislature, open enrollment had been considered a sure bet, but the proposal stalled and ultimately failed. Republican Caleb Rowden is Missouri's Senate president.
Teachers unions want to protect their fiefdoms. They want to protect this bureaucracy that they've built over the course of time, and they do that, I think, at the expense of giving parents and kids choices.
Democrat Maggie Nurenburn, a Missouri state representative, is a mother of 3 and a former teacher.
What happened in Missouri is that we saw a tremendous pushback, especially from our rural school districts. So if we have open enrollment and these small school districts have fewer students in them, they receive fewer resources, they're not going to be able to keep their doors open.
While rural schools worry about losing students, successful school systems worry about attracting too many under an open enrollment model. Just outside of Kansas City, sought-after schools in Independence, Missouri, finally got enough money to eliminate all school trailers or portables. School Superintendent Dale Hurl.
With open enrollment, that could open it up where now we have an influx of kids where our local patrons who are paying their local tax dollars to ensure an education for kids that live here, well, now those tax dollars are being paid for to educate kids who don't live within our boundaries.
School voucher and open enrollment bills are expected in Missouri's upcoming legislative session that begins in January. For Full Measure, I'm Cheryl Atkinson.
And you can watch Full Measure Sundays on Fox 45 at 10 a.m. After missing the first 5 games of the season, Laura Harper is back coaching at Towson. She speaks with Fox 45 for the first time since her return, coming up next on Sports Unlimited. That's all for the news at 10. I'm Mary Bubala. Thanks so much for watching. Morgan Outset and Rocco DeSango join us now with Sports Unlimited. Morgan and Rocco.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. Coming up tonight on Sports Unlimited, mid-December football, and things are heating up in the playoff picture.
They certainly are. Teams have been eliminated. The Ravens can clinch a spot as we speak. A full breakdown of their playoff picture and Week 15 around the league.
Can you imagine a Ravens-Browns matchup in the playoffs? January Joe is playing some fantastic football in December. How Flacco cannot stop winning games for Cleveland.
She was placed on administrative leave in May, what was labeled as a decision within Towson, but she said today not hers. An exclusive interview with Towson women's basketball head coach Laura Harper as she is now back with the team.
And it's the final steps in keeping Camden Yards the O's home for the foreseeable future. What to know ahead of a big Monday for Birdland? That's coming up next on Sports Unlimited. What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Sports Unlimited. She's Morgan Adsit. I'm Rocco DeSangro. The Ravens can clinch a playoff spot with a late-night W at Jacksonville.
Yeah, thanks to some other Week 15 help before they even kicked off tonight against the Jags with losses from Denver and Pittsburgh yesterday. A win tonight, and the Ravens officially get what we all know is coming, a playoff spot. Those Ravens still fighting for the AFC North crown and overall top seed in the AFC. A win here, they're in with the game happening. You know the rules. We can't show you anything due to broadcasting. At halftime, the Ravens were up 10-0. Isaiah Likely's got a monster game, a 16-yard touchdown. The Jags got on the board in the third, but the Ravens just punched in a Gus Edwards touchdown. They are up right now at the start of the fourth, 17-7.
Well, it's something that took longer than Birdland would have hoped, but with the current Camden Yards lease between the Orioles and Maryland Stadium Authority set to expire on December 31st, it's better late than never. Monday is a big one for the Orioles, the city of Baltimore, and the state of Maryland as the long-term lease agreement goes before the Maryland Stadium Authority Board for approval in a 10 a.m. meeting. Then the Maryland Board of